Hey Gabsters, how you Gabsters doing? Thank you so much for joining me on another video. Today is the third and final installment of the Q&A. Thank you so much Gabsters. Thank you to everybody who actually sent in questions. I really appreciate it. As I said in the request for the questions, I was so scared that nobody was actually going to send in questions that I am like actually just like thank you. I don't know what I would have done if nobody did. And Bailungi also actually said that she has the same fear, so don't be scared, girl. We will send in the questions. We'll be sending them. People are supporting. So yes, thank you again. So let us get into it. And today, finally, I'm going to be answering the question, the Wakanda question. We're going to be finding out as to whether I have a BAE or not. Yep. Let's start with her. Byron, he says, LOL, I feel you on the embarrassment asking for questions and receiving no questions. My question is, what is the one smell that takes you back to your childhood? What is your favorite thing about yourself? And P.S. I love the whole makeup in this video, especially the eyes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to work on my eyeshadow game, people. I'm one of those like one eyeshadow people, so I've been trying. So thank you for noticing. And then smell that takes me back to my childhood. Most of the smells are actually linked to my mother. A food smell that takes me straight back to my childhood is tripe. Because tripe was a family favorite and we ate it all the time. It was requested all the time. And then there was that time in my life when I was old enough to actually watch over the pot, and I had to be home for the first 2 hours when it was smelling putrid. You know those first 2 hours of tripe cooking. I got old enough to be responsible for that moment. And another smell is happy event, even though my mother doesn't use it anymore. Every time I smell it, especially how pregnant women particularly use it, like I'm just like, oh mommy. And then my mother used to use opium, like old school opium, not opium black or anything like that, like old school opium. So woody, musky, sort of like really cinnamony smells like that always remind me of my mother as well. And then what is my most favorite thing about myself? Okay, physically, I will not mention my most favorite thing about myself because I think I'm pretty okay. Like I've never had like issues with any part of my physical self other than my skin and my growing tummy at the moment. And but I'm happy with everything else. I generally have always been happy with the rest of me. I've never really faffed over my body. And then personality-wise, I think like I'm a really easy-go-lucky kind of girl. Like if you're happy, I'm happy. Let's kumbaya, let's live life. I'm very easygoing, very chilled, like that's what I like about myself. Waters364 asked, what exactly is your PhD topic? And my PhD topic is basically, I have a video on this which I'll link up here, but basically like the quickest question for my PhD is how do YouTubers make money? Now there's all sorts of sort of like social theoretical context that I put in and all of that kind of stuff, but basically that's the question I'm asking. How do YouTubers make money? And how come they're basically able to make money specifically off vlogging, which is what I'm looking at. And then Wisebit Wiseman is asked, why are you doing your PhD in humanities? And I think he also posted a comment on one of my other social media because I remember seeing something saying, he said, I'm asking because I thought you said you did your undergraduate in engineering. I've never done an undergraduate degree in engineering. I've never been close to engineering. I'm not sure where you got that. I did my undergraduate in humanities. I majored in psychology and anthropology is what I've taken through to my postgraduate studies. Then Phumzile Twala said, me and Life with Seiko would like to know, what would you say to your 26-year-old self? To my 26-year-old self, I would say two things. Actually, I'd say many things to my 26-year-old self, but I would probably say, let me say two things. I would say, firstly, you are your biggest enemy, you are your worst enemy, but you're also your best encourager, motivator, like pat back person, no one can encourage you in the ways that you could encourage yourself, because you know exactly what it is that you need to hear in order to be able to do that thing. Just as no one can push you down as much as you can push you down, because you know all your sore points, your weak points, and all of that thing. And when you're doing negative self-talk, you go straight for the jugular. And then the next thing that I would say is, you are not the sum of your worst mistake or the worst thing you've ever done. There's a quote I saw the other day that says something similar, or probably the same thing. But for me, I struggled a lot with sort of like self-forgiveness. I struggle a lot with it even still now. Like, self-forgiveness for me is a really hard thing, and I always sort of punish myself, and I make decisions from a place of, you're such a bad person, you deserve everything bad that comes to you because you did such and such a thing, and na. And I did something horrible, like probably like in like my mid-20s, and it took me over 10 years to forgive myself for it. And for 10 years I made such really bad decisions based on that one moment that, I mean, it just, to think that one moment took 10 years to fix is like, just think about it, Gabsters. You are the sum of everything that has happened in your life, and not just one particular moment. Mummy and Baby Approved said, love the hairstyle, love the braids, love the makeup, and yes, we missed you. For the Q&A, what is your plan post PhD? I've answered this in the first Q&A, but basically post PhD, I want to be lecturing, I want to be collecting data. Specifically, I've talked about how I want to be doing data collection in Swaziland, on Swaziland, and basically sort of like repositioning myself there, simply because Swaziland is a home base for me. Like, I left home in 1996, people. 96, I was in high school, I was in my teens. Yes, I'm 36 years old this year. I'm actually turning 37. So it's been over 20 years since I've lived home, since I've been home, since home has been home. Home is now a place where I go to visit. Home is not a place where I say, okay, I'm going home. And I really, like, I miss it. I miss being home. I miss being around familiar surroundings. I miss being just around people who knew me before I was even conceived. I miss mothers who talk about, women who talk about me like when my mother was pregnant with me. I miss friends who know me from like pre-primary school. I just miss Swaziland. I miss everything. I miss my mother. My mother is like in her 70s now, and I'd like to spend more time with her. My niece is about to go to varsity, which means my sister's going to be very lonely. So, I mean, I really just want to go back home. I want to be with family. I want to be just, yeah, I want to be home with family. Life with Seiko, continuing from not only what would you say to your 26-year-old self, but what would be your perfect job after PhD, which I've already answered, and what would you say your core values are? So my core values are, I suppose the main value that I live with and sort of carry through sort of all my decision making and how I interact with people. And I mean, it's not the only value, but sort of the one that's sort of, I don't know, predominant is treat other people as you would like to be treated. That's how I sort of, that's the base point from which I start off from, and then I move from there. And then the other thing is to try and not make life difficult for other people, to love, to laugh, to be around family, to be around friends, to be just like a positive person. Like, I believe in positivity. Yeah, I believe in putting it out there, and I believe that what you put out is what you get back. But I definitely, my core value is treat other people as you would like to be treated yourself. So Michelle M, hey Michelle, how are you doing? Happy New Year and welcome back. It's good to see you. For the Q&A, it's not exactly a question, so I'm cheating a little. In your wildest dreams, being as detailed as possible, describe life 5 years from now. What are you doing? What does life look like? So I've probably discussed like career, but I haven't really discussed like family. Like, do I want to be married? Don't I want to be married? Do I want to have kids? Don't I want to have kids? And all of that kind of stuff. I don't actually know 5 years from now. I mean, I would love to be in a stable relationship. If I am going to have kids, which would depend entirely on him, everybody, guys, I have a philosophy about having kids. So, and one of the philosophies is I'm not going to have children with somebody I wouldn't let raise my children should I die or something like that. So depending on my partner and what his character is like, you know, because I could marry some crazy guy who's like off for adventure, and then I'd be like, I'm not having kids with you because you're going to leave my kids whilst you're going to climb Mount Everest. Or I could marry like, you know, Mr. Family, and then I would have kids with him. So depending on the person that I'm with, partnering up with and all of that stuff, I would have kids. If I am to have kids, I would love to be married like by the time I have the kids, or in like discussed, rule set, papers, not necessarily marriage paper signed, but like, you know, like a contract of understanding, sort of like some documentation about like what are we doing, like what is this fat and set, you know. I don't want to do fat and set without a contract. We are doing it with a contract even if we're doing a fat and set, because things go wrong, y'all, things go wrong. I'm entering 40 very soon, so if I'm gonna have kids, like my window is like actually it used to be like it was this big, like now it's like ooh, we are now like ooh, but Janet Jackson did it. I want a minimum of 2 kids, probably maximum 3 kids. So Lord knows if I do have kids, I'm going to be popping them one after the other, like pop, pop, pop. I won't even wait. When the doctor says 6 weeks you can start, I'm going to be like, baby, plant another one. She King Lifestyle Vlog said, I have a few questions, Gabby Gab. Do you have a man? Are you planning on having one? Will you ever get to see him? Also, how do you remain true to yourself and so humble with all the influence and YouTube personalities that you watch religiously, and your makeup game is popping lately? So let me start with, how do I remain true to myself and so humble with all the influence and YouTube personalities that you watch religiously? I am honest with myself. I believe in self-honesty. I believe in knowing yourself. I think that's how I managed to stay so, but I also think that maybe I'm not so humble. What would happen if I had like 100,000 subscribers? Would I still be so humble and like, you know, they say only the true test of a person, you can only test when a person's going through either tough times or is now rich. You can't test a person when they're poor, because of course they're going to be humble. Poverty equates to humbleness. Or when you're in the process of self-making, you are humble. What happens when the person is made? That is when we need to be talking about whether I'm humble or not. But I think, yeah, just know yourself, be true to yourself, and always have like the end goal in mind and everything that you want to do, set your mind to, and you know, and everybody else. So She King Lifestyle Vlog, and then Phumzile Twala also, who actually is one of those people that I was talking about missing people who know me pre-primary school. She is a YouTuber on YouTube, and she's also been a childhood friend. She asked Mola Gabs in 2018, Exe, do you have a BAE? So Phumzile, nah, Precious and Phumzile. She King Lifestyle Vlog is Precious, by the way. I do have a BAE. It feels awkward. In all my life, I have not even announced a relationship on Facebook. And I mean, like, Facebook started when I was like in my late 20s. You know, when people were still sending pokes. Not even then did my Facebook status ever change to in a relationship. So this feels very awkward and very, like, just not my comfort zone. I've always kept my private life private. For most of my YouTube career, actually, I didn't have a BAE. So it's a new relationship. It's a couple of months old. It's a young relationship, but it feels really good. Feels very comfortable. It feels very like content and easy and just like not stressful, you know what I mean? So I'm quite happy with it. So will you ever see him? Will you ever get to see him? Why, Precious? Why? Why you want to see the man, Precious? Why you want to see the man? Okay, so will you ever see him? I don't know. Yeah, sure, I'm sure. I don't know how to answer this question. yes, you will probably see him in a vlog. My thing is, if I'm vlogging and he's there and he's in the shot, he'll stay in the shot. If he is if he's not there, then you won't see him. Maybe you might hear a voice or whatever. I'm still also getting used to the relationship. I'm still trying to get comfortable with the relationship. I mean, I know we've been together for a few months now. I should be used to it, but like I take time to look at a situation. Like in anything I do in life, it takes me a very long time to settle down. Even this place, I mean, I've been living here since January and I still don't feel completely settled in. So it takes me a very long time to settle into things and those kinds of things. So I'm going to take my time settling into my relationship, and he will progress in the channel in the ways that I progress in my settling down. Yeah, he's there. I've rambled on and on and on and on about this relationship. Pabi's diary, and Pabi is probably one of Pabi and Michelle M are probably my two oldest subscribers. Not old by age, but like were the first subscribers, you know, like OG subscribers. And Pabi says, what do you know for sure about love, friendship, yourself, and life in general? Love is beautiful, Gabsters. Like, honestly, love is beautiful. I've always believed in love. I always will believe in love. I've always believed in truth, honesty, and respect as parts of love. I've always believed that love is something that adds to your life and doesn't take away from your life. Yeah, I do believe in love, and I believe that it is there for everybody. I think that we all go through journeys to find it, but we can find it. And we can find it, as I said, life in general, if we are honest with ourselves. I think that a lot of the time we lie to ourselves because we're not happy with the realities of which we're living in, or we don't want to do the work to get us to where we want to go to or where we want to be, so we lie to ourselves. And I personally believe in self-honesty. Like, tell yourself the truth. Speak to yourself in truth, with truth. Don't lie to yourself, because no one can lie to yourself like you can lie to yourself, okay? So I believe that about life in general. I think that when you're honest with yourself, you are more likely to actually jump over the hurdles that you should have jumped over instead of jumping into, because you're busy lying to yourself and you thought that you were a magician and you could turn frogs into princes, or you could turn bad careers into great careers but still staying at the same place and having a crappy attitude at work, or that you can do all of these other things without actually doing any work to get to it. Don't do that. Tell yourself the truth. Do the work that is required for you to get to where you want to be, and it will happen. It will happen. Love doesn't always look the way you think it's going to look like, and always open your heart to the possibilities of the possibilities of love, because love doesn't always come in the package that you expect it to come in. So never close yourself off to certain things just because, oh, I don't do that, oh, I don't do that, oh, but if I do that, oh, no. Or like social pressures. No, you can't date that person because of A, B, C, and D. No. Don't close yourself off to love. And then friendship is a beautiful thing, Gabsters. Like, I have been lucky enough to have really, really good friends, and I've always had really good friends. Like, I've always been lucky in that regard. I've always had really, really good friends, and even if some of my friendships are not as tight, and I talk about tight in terms of seeing everybody every day and talking to everybody like regularly and those kinds of things, most of my friendships I think I could still rely on even now. Like, I have friends I haven't spoken to in years, but I think if I picked up the phone and I was like, yo, they'd be like, yo, and we'd be like, yo, together, and we're like, okay, let's make a plan, you know what I mean? I'm very lucky when it comes to friendships, but again, I'm honest in my friendships, and friendships are just as much a compromise and about giving and taking as a relationship with a partner, as even within your families. Although, I mean, I'm not much of a compromiser in my family situation, so I mean, I'm talking crap. But friendships are beautiful things, and some friendships make it through the years and other friendships don't make it through the years. Those friendships that don't make it through the years are not are no less than friendships that last throughout the years, because all friendships add to your life, I think. Well, every situation adds to your life. All friendships add to your life, and yeah. And those that don't make it, they don't require a big fight, they don't require anything. Let them dissolve into the space in which they're supposed to dissolve into. And then if you were forced to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? Okay, slap chips. Give me that salt, give me that vinegar, give me some potato. I am happy. You can add chili on the side. Okay, sure, great. You can add bread, or you can add like maguinas and all that kind of thing. But I would eat slap chips all day, every day. It's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Did I tell you guys I'm on a diet? Slap chips, because I actually absolutely love them. When are you happiest? I am happiest. So I'm very loud, as you all know. I'm very loud, but I'm also quite an introvert. So I'm quite happy to be home, in bed, reading a book, watching a movie. I'm happy when I'm by myself, just being in my own space, in my own zone. But I'm also really happy when one of my favorite things to do is to go out for lunch with friends, is to go out for like brunch, and then stay at the restaurant, brunch into a late lunch, into a supper, and then just watch people come and go, and you have a table full of your friends, and you're laughing, and everyone's talking, and everybody's catching up. That is like probably one of my most favorite things to do. Like, I just love hanging out with like people I love. Like, yeah, that is when I'm happiest. Like, just loving other people. And when I'm around my family, although my family drives me mad, but I love them. And then, what are you doing and with whom are you doing it with? Lastly, what is your favorite thing about your mother? Okay, so what am I doing and whom am I doing it with? I'm doing many things. I'm doing it with many people. I'm living life and enjoying it with many people as possible, without them overcrowding my life. And then lastly, what is your most favorite thing about my mother? Okay, my most favorite thing about my mother is also the thing that drives me up the wall. I love it and I hate it. Actually, it's two things and they're related. So my mother has the biggest heart you've ever come across. She's always forgiving people. It's a good thing when you're the one asking for forgiveness. It's a bad thing when she forgives people that you know are going to do the exact same thing 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now, and she's going to forgive them again and again and again and again and again. And then the other thing that I really absolutely love about my mother that like drives me up the wall also is that my mother is a if you read that book, 7 Love Languages. I've never actually read the book, so I don't actually know what it says, but I've picked up snippets here and there. So one of my mother's love languages is acts of service. My mother is one of those people who is always ready to give acts of service as a show of love. So like how she came here to help me move in, and she came to clean my house. Like, my mother does that for everybody. My mother will want to do washing for you. My mother will, like, if you're sick, my mother will like hover over you. Are you fine? Cover you up, pull you down, get you food. No. She's like, she just wants to serve, you know, and that's how my mother shows love. My mother, let me tell you about acts of service. When I was young, my mom used to, I hate waking up. Like, I hate waking up. If everyone who knows me knows that I hate waking up. Like, it is probably the worst thing. To this day, when I was a kid, I would cry every morning, almost until probably like late high school. Every morning I would cry when I had to wake up. Like, I couldn't handle it mentally. It was just a lot. It was a lot, Gabsters. So my mom would wake up in the morning, put the heater in the bathroom, because we don't have central heating. She would put the heater in the bathroom, warm up the room, and then call me, wake me up, get me to the bathroom. Then she would take the heater, put it in the lounge, switch on the TV for me, because there was those like just before 7 o'clock cartoons. Switch on the TV for me, have my uniform laid out, bring me my breakfast, and just basically tenderize me to like, I'm awake. And then like when I was awake, she'd be like, okay, now you're good, now you can go to school. Like, I mean, this was like probably like And like it added so much to her morning routine, like getting me up and ready going, and like because I was so tender, that she did it every day, guaranteed. When my mother was at home, I got tenderized up. She would just gently into the day like take me in. And this is what I know about my mother. Like I've always grown up knowing that my mother's there. She'll do anything and everything for me. If it is in her capabilities, she will do it. I don't even have to wonder. But again, it drives me up the wall, because in as much as she forgives people, the same people who haven't been really good to her and haven't treated her well, she also provides acts of service. She forgets, she forgives them, and then she helps them again, and then they come back and they trample on her and trod on her, and it's just this like really vicious cycle. Actually, it's abuse. Let me call it what it is. It's a vicious cycle of like abuse. And I don't actually know who's abusing who, because I feel like she's not controlling it. But anyway, the mom's 70 years old, right? So what can I say? What can I say? So this is it. We are over with the Q&A videos, Gabsters. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Q&A as much as I have enjoyed answering all your questions. Thank you so much to everybody who sent in questions. Thank you so much, my golden oldies, for sticking with me, and to all my new subscribers, hi, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining the Gabster family. Bye, Gabsters!